lovelies, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a fill on my tips that I have on my nails on my left hand. As you can see, some of these nails do need to be filled in. So here's what I'm using to do that. This is Revel's Erica. It's a very light pink, kind of like a sheer pink, but to me it kind of emulates Builder Gel. Then I have my dip liquids from 915 Aesthetics, a duster brush to dust off the excess. I have my cuticle tool and a glass cuticle pusher. I have a nail file and a buffing block. And then I also have my Painted Desert cordless electric nail file that I'll be using as well. So my first step is just pushing back my cuticles with that flatter end of the glass cuticle pusher. I do that on each nail just to ensure that there's enough space to work and I'm not nicking my skin when I'm doing my filing. And then I go in with the pointed end and I just clean around the cuticle just to get anything off that might have built up there, old dip powder, any overgrowth from the pink that I have on there now, and making it all nice and smooth. Then I go in with my Painted Desert file using my sanding band. And for the purpose of this video, I'm just showing you what I do on my thumb. And then I will do all of the other nails off camera for the filing and prepping. So I'm just taking my sanding band and I have it on 11. I don't like to go any higher than that because it is kind of abrasive and I don't want to wear it down too far. But the purpose of this is to just kind of get as much of the old dip as I can off that I've used over my tips the last time I did the fill. So I'm just gently going over very slowly, as you can see. I've been using this nail drill for probably 9 months now. I don't use it on a regular basis. A lot of times I only use it when I'm like doing something like this with nail prep. Rarely do I ever use this when I'm dipping my nails with regular dip powder and doing like a regular manicure. This is really just what I do for my prep. So I'm going along. I'm not hitting my natural nail or my cuticle. I'm just keeping it on the tip here. And I never used this when I just did Builder Gel either because I didn't want to hit my natural nail. So this is kind of new to me, using it with the tip and then having the cover pink over it. So now I'm going in and I'm switching that sanding band out and I'm using my cone bit here. This is a little more gentler on the natural nail and the skin. So I've hit my cuticle with this a bunch of times. I've hit my skin. Nothing happens. There's no pain. There's no burning. Nothing. But, I'm not a licensed nail tech, and I don't want to tell you how to use this drill. You use it however you're comfortable using it if you do use an e-file. It's a very big curve to learn how to do something like this. And there's times when I still don't feel 100% comfortable, especially when I'm doing my right hand with my left, because that's my non-dominant hand. So I'm just kind of smoothing out the entire surface here, making sure I get all of that excess powder off and kind of flattening it a bit because I tend to get a big curve, especially on my thumbs when I do this process. So I kind of like to flatten that out so it doesn't make the curve even bigger. And this kind of helps do that for me. And I'm just, again, cleaning up my cuticle area to make sure that what is left there is flush against my cuticle line and there's no areas that would be lifting. So I'm just doing this process here and just making sure everything is nice and smooth. And then after I do the nail drill, I go in with a hand file, which you'll see in a second here. And I just kind of file over the whole surface of the nail and always brush off the excess so you can make sure you're, looking at it without all the dusting and filing bits on there. Okay, so now I'm going in with my file and I'm just lightly filing the surface of that nail, again, just to make sure everything is nice and even and smooth. And this also does help with the shaping. As you can see, I'm kind of shaping just to keep that cohesive shape that I like through the entire process of doing the fill. Just gently, again, not touching my cuticle line or my natural nail that's exposed there, making sure everything is nice and cohesive. And as you can see, I'm checking out that curve and making sure I've gotten, most of that flat as much as I can. And I do want to do another video where I put new tips on. That might be in the next week or so because I am due to change out my tips. So I will do a video on that. All right, and this is how we're looking. And now after this, I do my dusting off. So now I'm going to do the rest of my fingers, and then we'll come back for the rest. All right, here we are all filed up with the other fingers. As you can see, that index finger needed some extra love, just like the thumb did. Now my next step before I put on Erica by Revel is adding a layer of acid-free bond, and I'm using Mani Boss Bond, which is what I had on hand. So I'm just concentrating on the cuticle, and then I'm just dragging that up from the cuticle line to the free edge. So I'm not adding any extra on, I'm just using what I have on the brush and dragging it up. And this ensures that you won't get any lifting down by the cuticle line. So this is a very crucial step to the fill process, at least for me, especially since I use dip and not a builder gel, just to make sure that everything stays nice and doesn't lift or anything by the cuticle line. So once I make sure that everything is dried from the bond, I go in with Erica from Revel and start my dipping process. And this is just like I normally do my dip for my manis, if you've seen those. Just taking my base coat and putting a nice thin layer of that on my nail. I'm doing my thumb here in real time, and then I'm going to speed it up for the rest of the fingers and the second coat, because I do 2 dips of Erica.